Hey everybody, it's Chris. If you're a sports fan like me, or you're just a fan of a great story, you gotta check out Press Box Access, a sports history podcast hosted by Todd Jones. Todd sits down with fellow sports writers who experienced firsthand some of the biggest sports moments of the past 50 years, and they share some of the stories behind the stories, some of which they've only told to each other. What I personally love are the wild stories that you might not hear so much about on SportsCenter over the years. Like when Indiana-based sports journalist Bob Kravitz recounts the time Bobby Knight showed up naked to an office meeting with him and then banned him from the Hoosiers locker room for the next 3 years because Bob wrote a story he didn't like. Or when Alexander Wolf tells the story about going out on the town in Chicago with Dennis Rodman and Carmen Electra in the middle of a Bulls playoff series. Or when Dan Wetzel talks about what it was like to be in the media room when Temple basketball coach John Chaney stormed into UMass coach John Calipari's press conference after a game and threatened to kill him. These wild and fun stories, paired with stories about real sports greatness, you know, like the 1970s Steelers being the greatest NFL dynasty ever, or the legendary rivalry between Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, and even the impact of protests for social justice issues in sports, make Pressbox Access a show you should check out. Pressbox Access is part of the Evergreen Podcast family, and it's available all the places you get your pods, and you can also find Pressbox Access on YouTube. Go check it out.
Zero Foxtrot isn't just a brand, it's a way of life. Founded and operated by veterans, Zero Foxtrot's unique apparel and gear echoes the grit of the warrior culture. Zero Foxtrot dedicates itself to producing content, honoring the sacrifices of forgotten heroes of the past, and connecting history to the present. Embark on a journey with Zero Foxtrot today at zerofoxtrot.com. It's not merely our products, it's about the ethos that we embody. Rugged, resilient, and timeless.
On Amelia Island, Florida, smiles widen with every new experience. Families discover a love of hiking as they venture through nature trails or a knack for kayaking along tranquil waterways. Curious minds dive into fascinating pirate lore and dare each other to hunt for shark's teeth on the beach. Not to mention their quest to find the best shrimp tacos in town. When every day is full of beautiful moments together, it must be an island thing. Visit AmeliaIsland.com to find out more.
Chris, we are back with another March Madness episode, and it is the Final Four is about to become the finals.
The championship. The championship
match. So, you know, if we did this the way we've been doing it the past weeks, this would be like a 3-minute episode. So I think what I want to do is look at all the competitors one at a time before I give the results. So first up, we got the matchup of Green Day Basket Case versus the Beastie Boys Sabotage. Let's hear some pros and cons for both over there.
I mean, we kind of said this last week. I think we agreed on this, that the Beastie Boys Sabotage is a little more raw of a song, but Basket Case is kind of the song that, well...
Could you argue that Basket Case might be the most important punk song of all time just for, like, what it did for the next 30 years that came after it?
Was it? I guess it was the one, right? At that time, there were
like Longview was first, but I don't think Longview was the hit that Basket Case was.
Right. And When I Come Around was after Basket Case.
Yeah, When I Come Around was the last single off Dookie.
Yeah, I mean, what I would probably say is that Basket Case is maybe a more important song in the grand scheme of things, like for Green Day and for like punk music in the mainstream. Whereas Sabotage, I don't know if it's even the most important song in the Beastie Boys catalog. Probably not.
No, I think what I would say on the pro side, if we're talking about a song representing a band's career and catalog, I think Basket Case is a good representation of what Green Day's overall sound is. I don't think Sabotage is a good representation of what the Beastie Boys' overall sound is. It's way more of an outlier of their genre.
Yeah, definitely. I was on the fence. I voted for Green Day, even though I was like, man, it'd be pretty cool if the Beastie Boys won here. But I just couldn't click for the Beasties on this one, man. I don't know.
All right, well, neither could most of our audience, but it was not a landslide here. We had 100 votes on this particular bracket. Green Day, Basket Case, 56% of the vote, 44% of the vote going to Beastie Boys Sabotage. So it was close. There was times, Chris, I checked this every morning. I would say we released this on Friday. Up until Tuesday, every time I checked, it was either 50% to 50% or 51% to 49%. It was only towards like the Wednesday bracket where it started to have a little bit more separation. It was anybody's game until this moment. So Basket Case is going forward into the finals. Pasa, I'm assuming still your number one seed.
Yeah, I mean, I think my odds were pretty spot on because the Beastie Boys did give them a run. I knew that their odds couldn't be as long as they were before when I saw that Green Day didn't win by as much as I thought they would the last round. And the fact that the Beastie Boys just dominated in that round. So, I got to see who they're up against. I can take a guess of who they're going to be up against and then try to figure out the odds here. But yeah, I mean, this is what I thought. And no, I didn't think it was going to be a landslide. This is about right. I would have guessed somewhere in this range is what they would have won by.
All right. And then our second matchup was Counting Crows, Mr. Jones versus Ace of Base, The Sign. Now, in the comments section of the One Hit Thunder Facebook page, and I think even on the Krista Makes Facebook page when you shared this, a lot of love still coming for Ace of Base. A lot of people calling Ace of Base the team that's going to win the whole thing.
I didn't see it at all. Like, I mean, obviously, I've gone on record saying it a lot of times that August and Everything After is my favorite album ever, front to back. I'm not saying Mr. Jones is even my favorite song on the album, but Mr. Jones is the song. I mean, it's easily their most known track.
Yeah. It's kind of one of the only two true pop songs on August and Everything. But yeah, I agree with you. It's not the best track. I mean, I'm a big fan of A Murder of One. I'm a big fan of Round Here.
Yeah.
And there's there's a lot of great songs on there. But, I mean, Mr. Jones is this, it's just, lives in your brain all day long. But you could say the same about Ace of Base. The amount of times that I have in my life made a reference where someone has said something about seeing a sign, or that when they were going through a breakup, they saw the signs, and I immediately chime in with, did it open up your eyes?
Sure.
It's one of those catchy choruses. And I believe when we did the episode in the green room at Asbury Park, Paul and Corey both chimed in that when they tried to cover this song.
Yeah, we tried to do it in Punchline. Punchline.
That it was a lot harder than they anticipated, just on translating that from what it was to a good rock song.
Yeah, there's not a real clear-cut way to do this in a way that's not the way Ace of Base did it. It doesn't translate to rock very well. I mean, I think we for a second tried it reggae, and then we were like, no, this is lame. We can't do this. This is stupid.
Do you think, let me ask you this question. Do you think that Ace of Base would still be this far if we picked one of the other two singles that they released in 1994, which was All That She Wants and Don't Turn Around?
No.
Or do you think it's specifically this song? This is the song that people are fighting for.
This is the song. Yeah. They're not going to be taking All That She Wants Is Another Baby song this far, or no, or Don't Turn Around. No way. This is the one. This is both of these groups. This is the song. They both have. Yeah. Counting Crows has a lot more hits than Ace of Base does, just a longer career of hits, but this is both their most defining songs. So, yeah.
I mean, I would argue that if people haven't really dove into the Counting Crows catalog, they're missing out, because I think that their first 4 albums is a pretty solid run of records.
Oh, yeah.
August and Everything, Recovering the Satellites, This Desert Life, and
Hard Candy.
Oh my God, I'm blanking. Hard Candy. Those 4 albums are all pretty. There's very few skips on those 4 albums for me. Those are really good, well thought out records. And Ace of Base, I do think that All That She Wants is a good song. I think Don't Turn Around is a good song, but it's not the sign. And all they really had was their follow-up album had their cover of Cruel Summer and Beautiful Life, and then they kind of vanished. How do you think this played out, Chris? Because like I said, there was a lot of chatter that people thought Ace of Base was going all the way.
Oh, man. In my heart of hearts, I got to believe that Counting Crows ran away with this one. There's just so much more heart and emotion in Counting Crows. I could see some people being annoyed by Adam Duritz's voice. I think I've seen that before, not in the circles I run in. We all love the guy, but I could see that being a complaint. But no, I got to think that Counting Crows took this by at least like 66%. I think 2/3 of the votes had to go to Counting Crows.
Chris, that is incredible because it literally was 66% for Counting Crows, Mr. Jones.
Man, I'm good.
66% to Ace of Base's 34%. So, I mean, we got to talk about this. The final matchup, Green Day Basket Case versus Counting Crows, Mr. Jones. And I can kind of see, 2 different ways that this goes, man. I can see this being, Green Day just takes the win, or this could be one of those situations where people love both songs and they go in to vote and they assume that a lot of people are going to vote for Green Day, so they throw their votes onto Counting Crows and almost tip the scale through that. Or that Counting Crows has won 3 or 4 matchups now with a very wide margin, a wider margin than any of the Green Day wins. So maybe Counting Crows just takes it.
Well, I got to tell you right now, I've been thinking about the odds, and
yeah, I was going to ask you that next. What's if I had $100, what am I looking at here?
You're looking at Green Day at -130. You got to bet 130 to win 100. Counting Crows at +110. So it's pretty close. 100 wins you 110, or you got to put up 130 to win 100 on Green Day. And I got to tell you, I'm going to show my cards right now. I'm voting for Counting Crows in the finals.
I think I might do the same, honestly. As much as Green Day is legitimately in my top 5 favorite bands of all time, but I don't know. I kind of want it to be Counting Crows, but again, it's not up to us. Our votes, we put 2 votes in this bucket, and the audience controls the rest of it. So I am really excited to see what happens. Chris, until this morning, didn't know what we were going to talk about after this because we don't really have anything to promote on either side. And then I woke up to about 1 million different posts of an unexpected cover song that happened last night.
Oh man, my phone started blowing up all at the same time last night from when we're recording this. I should have went to that concert, I guess. But, they could have picked up the phone or sent me an email or something and invited me. Like, okay, what we're referring to is last night Fall Out Boy played Pittsburgh at the PPG Arena and covered Punchline Heart Transplant. Well, Patrick did on piano. And I got tons of videos and, tons of whatever. Like, we posted the video of it on our socials, and it's like, so many comments and reshares and likes and whatever. That was pretty unexpected. It's like, it's so crazy and funny because it's like, I haven't talked to those dudes in forever. Like, and I don't know. It's awesome. It's great. And I thought one of the funniest and coolest parts of it is there's so many videos that people tagged us in, and pretty much every single one of them, Patrick's at the piano and he's talking and he starts like insinuating like, hey, we used to play with this band. And so many of them, you hear somebody who's filming it going, oh my God, is he talking about Punchline? And then he says it, and then the people scream, and some of them people are singing along and stuff. But yeah, it's pretty wild. What did you think of that?
I think my honest opinion was just like thinking about you and the friendship that I've built with you over the last 4 or 5 years, and knowing that the topic of Fall Out Boy is kind of a bittersweet one sometimes, just because it's like, it's hard to not think of them being the band that has the career that you had hoped you were going to have. So to have this moment out of nowhere that kind of is a reminder that, like, at a minimum, Patrick Stump still remembers and thinks fondly of you guys.
Well,
like, that has to feel good.
I think it's very cool. It's very nice. And hey, we got a bunch of action shows coming up, and a dude from one of the biggest bands just covered, like, that video could have
covered
some legs.
The biggest song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty cool.
Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, cool. Chris, we'll be back next Friday with the results of the finals. Yeah. And maybe, let me pitch this to you. Maybe before we give the results next Friday, we do like a mini version of One Hit Thunder for both songs. You know what I mean? Like, okay. Like do the same level of research we would do for One Hit Wonder just on those two songs, and do like two 10-15 minute episodes of One Hit Thunder combined into a 30-minute spectacular before we reveal the results. What do you think? I think that could be fun.
I love that. I mean, I don't think people really need to know the history of both bands, but the history of the songs. Anything we can find out about the specific songs that people might not know, I think that would be fun. So let's do that.
All right.
Cool.
That's the plan then. And we'll be back on Wednesday with just a regular episode of One Hit Thunder.
They're never just regular. I'm not going to lie here. I've become a Factor fanatic lately. I'm a busy guy, and getting to eat restaurant quality meals that are ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes has been amazing. Eating better is easy with Factor's delicious, ready-to-eat meals. Every fresh, never frozen meal is chef-crafted, dietitian approved, and ready to go in just 2 minutes. You have 35 different options to choose from every week, including Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, and Keto. And also, there are more than 60 add-ons to help you stay fueled up and feeling good all day long. I've been spreading the word to everyone I know, not just here on the podcast, but in person as well. Factor is the perfect solution if you're looking for fast, premium options with no cooking required. You get as much or as little as you need by choosing your meals every week. Plus, you can pause or reschedule your deliveries anytime. And the math doesn't lie. Factor is less expensive than takeout. Plus, considering every meal is dietitian approved, it's also nutritious and delicious. So what are you waiting for? Get started today by heading to factormeals.com/onehit50 and use the code onehit50 to get 50% off. That's code onehit50, the words one hit and the number 50, that is, at factormeals.com/onehit50 to get 50% off.
Zero Foxtrot isn't just a brand. It's a way of life. Founded and operated by veterans, Zero Foxtrot's unique apparel and gear echoes the grit of the warrior culture. Zero Foxtrot dedicates itself to producing content, honoring the sacrifices of forgotten heroes of the past, and connecting history to the present. Embark on a journey with Zero Foxtrot today at zerofoxtrot.com. It's not merely our products. It's about the ethos that we embody. Rugged, resilient, and timeless.
Hey, this is Chris Santos, host of Delirious Nomads, the Blacklight Media podcast, part of the Sound Talent Media Podcast Network. Delirious Nomads is a podcast about all things heavy metal, as well as breakdowns of your favorite combat sports. And me being a chef and all, we'll be riffing on some food talk every week with very special guests from across the globe. Listen and subscribe at soundtalentmedia.com.